You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. It's now time for the Riley Johnson Team Market Update. We are dedicated to provide the tools you need to make informed decisions and how today's events in our local economy can affect your buying power. So, Riley's not here. It's just Johnson. But I am going to just take a few minutes to talk to you about credit and really specifically our young people coming into the market. I wanted to tell a story first. I've been thinking about this lately as working with so many millennials because they are the major buyers coming into the next few years. And I was thinking, I was the youngest of 6 kids, so I was raised in a pretty large family and pretty financially conservative family, I will say. My parents, they were born in the 20s, and so they lived through some pretty hard times with the Great Depression and 2 world wars. And so money was never talked about. I mean, it was never even mentioned, and certainly nothing about a credit score growing up. So I had no idea. But somehow I think just the environment that I was in got me off on a good track, I guess. I started babysitting when I was 11 and my first job at like 15 and a half. And when I turned 16, I got my first credit card at Nordstrom's. I think I had a $300 limit and never overspent. I always made my little payment on time if I bought something. And but I guess to me the funny thing is that they never really talked to me about it. I guess the environment I was in, like I say, got me on the right track. So I've always had a responsible credit. But I think from what I see, it's just not necessarily the same for all kids today. And I feel like our environment is a lot different. I mean, I was sort of raised, if you didn't have the money to buy it, you didn't buy it. So people didn't use credit. And now we're more of an instant gratification type of environment. So I'm kind of speaking to the parents out there, but anybody with regard to credit, I think it's just really important to try and get our kids off on the right track. And so I wanted to share just a few tips with you. In building a credit score, there's a good mix of credit. I know credit cards seem scary, but you need to build credit to have a good score. And so having a bank card, having maybe a store card that a young person can use. And when I say use, they could buy 1 tank of gas a month and then they can pay that off. They do not need to carry a balance. I would never want anyone to be paying the high interest on credit cards. So it's great to just pay them off every month, but that helps build credit. When they start driving, if they have a car, making a car payment, that would be considered an installment loan, and that's a great way to build your credit. I was thinking when I got my first car, my parents had a lake place, and they had a balance on their property of I want to say $1,700, and I got a car, and they said, "Here, you can just pay this off," and they just gave me the property bill, and somehow I never thought twice about it, but I just paid it every month until it was gone. And then I said, "Hey, your property's paid off." And they never even checked with me. So I just wonder, I don't even know if my parents thought about, I could have really screwed up their credit score, but I didn't because I just wasn't that kind of kid. But anyway, it's funny to me to think about that now. But so kids building credit, it's really important to pay whatever you have, to pay it on time and pay it off. And so some of the factors of your credit score, a payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. So you get that little credit card and you decide to buy something, but if you don't pay it on time, you're really going to hurt yourself. So you really need to make your payment on time. You need to keep your balance paid off or incredibly low if you did have a balance, because that's 30% of your credit score. And then length of credit history makes up 15% of your score. So it's good to get something and then keep it. Don't close your credit down, because then you diminish your credit history, and that's going to also hurt your score. So it's not good to open too much credit, because new credit is going to be 10% of your score, and you don't want too many inquiries. So those are just a few of the things. But one last tip is that 65% of all consumers right now are at a 650 or above. So that leaves a lot of people at below 650. And just to give you an idea, if you were to have a mortgage payment today with or be qualifying, say, for a mortgage with a 650 credit score versus having a 740 credit score, and this, I just ran some numbers based on a $300,000 loan amount at a 90% loan to value, you are going to pay an additional $270 a month on that payment if you have under a 650 credit score. So that's really important. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. I appreciate you being here. For any questions or future topics that you'd like to suggest, we'd love to hear from you at www.financialfitnessnw.com. Look forward to seeing you and having you tune in next Thursday at 12 o'clock. Have a great weekend.